By now you should know the basics of CSS animation. It's time to explore some more advanced properties and rules. In this video, you will learn how to use the animation property in combination with the @keyframes rule to create advanced animations. When developers want to create complex animations, they use the animation property, but to control the execution of the steps of the animation, they use the @keyframe rule. Next, let's explore the syntax of the @keyframe rule and the animation property. The @keyframe rule specifies the name of the animation and the individual keyframes for the animation. You define each keyframe with a keyframe selector and CSS styles for that keyframe. The @keyframe rule can also use the optional keywords from and to show transitions. The animation name links the animation to a specific keyframe rule. The animation property has a number of sub-properties like animation name, animation delay, and so on. You can use a shorthand CSS syntax to set all the sub-properties of the animation property. But say you want one or more of them to have the default settings, you simply leave them out. However, each of the sub-properties can be listed individually as well. To understand animation cues, let's explore a simple animation of a clock with hour and minute hands. The HTML code for the clock will consist of only 3 basic elements, which are the div class called clock, and inside it a div class called minutes and another div class called hours. Take note how both hours and minutes have an additional common class called hand. In order to let the clock work, you need this additional hand class with its own CSS rules. But since the focus of this lesson is to understand the animation part of the CSS, the basic styling properties of the clock are not covered now. All that you need to know is that you create 2 classes, clock and hand, and insert style rules that specify the basic layout and appearance of the clock and hands. So far, the output of the CSS is a static blue clock face and red hands with white borders. Now you can configure the animation for both the hour and minutes classes. The only difference between the two will be the speed at which they change positions. For the minutes class, you add the animation property with the value of 6 seconds infinite linear. For the hours class, you add the animation property with the value of cycle 60 seconds infinite linear. These 2 rules set the animation name cycle to complete iterations for respective timings over an infinite time duration and linear timing function. Since the other animation properties are not mentioned, they are set to the default values. Finally, you can add the @keyframe rule. Type @keyframe cycle and then the 2 special keywords, namely from and to. For the from keyword, add the transform property with the value of rotate 0 degrees. And for the to keyword, add the transform property with the value of rotate 360 degrees. Since keyframes is a type of rule in CSS, we will be adding these details inside curly braces. There will be a follow-up reading about keyframes after this video. So what exactly does this CSS animation do? Well, it uses the transform property to rotate the cycle associated with both the hours and minute classes from the value of 0 to 360 degrees. The combination of properties and rules will give a seamless appearance of a clock in continuous motion. In this video, you've learned how to use the animation property and the @keyframe rule together to get a specific effect. CSS offers endless creativity when it comes to animation. The properties and rules you covered can be configured in many more ways. For instance, you can combine them with other elements like images to achieve amazing animations using purely CSS.